Today is President's Day and do have the day off of work, and when I normally do have the day off of work, I try to do stuff away from the computer. And a few people have been asking me about this Lego set that I do have in the background of my video setup. And this is something that I purchased maybe over 8 years ago. And it is this Architecture Studio set, which is basically just kind of like a free form set that includes all white tiles. And it has a bunch of architecture exercises in here. I actually looked this up to see if Lego is still selling it, and it is a discontinued piece of kit here. When I bought it, it was around like $200 to $300, but if you check like on Amazon or any places online, I think they even sell it on StockX, people are selling this for like $600 now. So it isn't just easily available, but I do love this thing. In this, I think one of my favorite things is the book. So not just the tiles, but in here is this really thick book. And they teach you a bunch of architecture exercises and things like that. And I think there have been some concepts in this book that have kind of shifted my mind in the design work that I do. So I'm just gonna spend today just playing a little bit with these Legos and maybe take you through one of the concepts here that kind of changed the way I think about the design that I do in terms of designing modularly. Alright, so here is the handbook that comes with this particular set, and the exercise that I wanted to share with you is on modules and repetitions. So if I could just flip over to this page. This is the particular exercise that I wanted to share. And the basic idea is that you start off with a very simple object, and then you use that object repeatedly to create a overall structure. And then if you go back to your original module while retaining the same exact shape but using different blocks to add in more detail, you can then replace that block in the overall structure and create something a little bit more interesting. And I just really love this because it relates to a lot of the types of design that I do on websites in terms of designing in modules and really focusing on the individual module. And eventually, because your design is repeating that single module, once you update the one module, then it actually eventually updates the entire design of your project. So I did a mini version of this. I basically used a single module 4 times to create it. And basic pieces are these. We've got this 8-notch block and then like the thinner version of it, which go on the opposite ends of it. And this is the basic idea of the module. Very simple, and we repeat it 4 times to make this guy. For the next part of this, as you remember, this is the original module that we started out with. If we kind of evolve the design of that into something a little bit different using some other pieces, we get something like this. Now, where a module like this would have created a architectural piece like this, if you were to now use our new module and create basically the same exact structure, it now looks like something like this, which is a little bit more interesting. We are using the same exact module and repeating it. So if we now compare this new structure to the old one, it is a little bit more detailed and interesting. Say for example, now we want to build on that, and we want to basically take our 2 modules, which are basically the same exact shape but using different pieces and detail in there, and we want to combine them into that repetitive pattern. We can. And I basically set up this pattern, and I basically alternated the 2 different modules, and now I've created a much interesting structure here, and it's all built basically off of those 2 module types. Say for example, now you want to add a 3rd module. So this one is adding a lot more detail, but it's still retaining that overall shape. And now we have these 3 modules essentially that we're working with. And now let's insert this into that overall project where I am incorporating a pattern of repeating those modules. And come up with something basically like this. And now this is a much more interesting structure here, incorporating 3 variations of the same module. Alright, so that is just one example of many of the exercises that are in that LEGO Architecture Studio book, and I just find these things really, really interesting. And this particular example, when I learned about it, 8 or so years ago when I first picked up the set, it kind of transformed the way that I think about the designs that I do on the web for apps and for websites, and really building things in terms of these modules. And if you focus on the individual module and through time kind of evolving the design of the module from something very basic to something eventually with a little bit more detail, that could eventually impact the overall design of your entire project. And instead of focusing holistically on the design of the entire project, all you really have to do is focus on the design of an individual module, and that eventually will change the design of the bigger picture. So I don't know how many of you all know this, but if you have the Amazon app on your phone, you could go to your profile and see how many views of your reviews you got, and also how many helpful votes that you got on some of your reviews. So me and Jess were kind of comparing notes here, and I don't really write reviews that often, so I only wrote 12 reviews, and I've gotten only 24 helpful votes on ours. But Jess over here was looking at her stats, and how many helpful votes?
I have 771 helpful voes.
Holy crap. How many? You wrote
47 reviews.
How many views of them have you gotten?
50,000
Holy crap. What is that from? So Jess has this one review she was reading that she wrote on these mini toothbrushes.
Okay, hold on,
and
let
it's
me find it.
a book.
Okay,
But
hold on.
could you give us could you read a
I'll
couple?
read the intro, yes. Alright, title. My dentist shamed me. And then I got this. It's for these little mini toothbrushes that are kids' toothbrushes. A dentist once exclaimed, after breaking sweat extracting my wisdom teeth, that I had a freakishly small mouth. As a very loud person, I found that really humorous, until I discovered this year that the abyss behind my back teeth wasn't getting brushed enough. I thought I was doing a great job until my current dentist judged me during a cleaning, my greatest fear, and gently encouraged me to get myself together after finding some food back there. Thus, armed with a new, tiny insecurity, I made stronger effort to reach those teeth twice a day. Like many other ugly things in life, I'd resigned myself to the uselessly bulky toothbrush.
2 hours later.
No more stretching my head back and rolling my eyes frantically to clean a formerly impossible area. I'm relaxed and still quite pretty during this daily ritual. And then it just keeps going on and on. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
How many? 76?
This one had 76.
Oh my god, that's like a book.
Yeah.
Like a real...
Look, some of these have
novel.
245. This is also for a tooth situation.
Jesus.
This one for a power sander had 266.
You wrote a review for a power sander?
Yeah, it says non-electrical sanding is stupid now.
Oh my god. So apparently we've got a pro Amazon reviewer here in Jess. Curtis, press the Curtis button.
Water bottle.
It's a crib dribbler.
That's amazing.
Have you heard of these?
I didn't even know this thing existed. Oh, I'm glad that it's something else.
It's a prank box.
Oh,
I hope she didn't grow out of this
I thought it was real.
too much going on today. I was just working from home most of the day, and now it's dinner time, so we gotta eat. I just wanted to share with you one of my favorite struggle meals, and it's not really a struggle meal. I actually really enjoy eating this, but it's just a really quick thing that I put together if I'm like in a bind and feeling really hungry. So here I've basically got hamburger patties. These are from Costco, and I've pretty much seasoned it with some soy sauce and a drop of rice wine vinegar. And I put all the regular seasonings on it, like garlic powder, pepper, salt. And I'm going to just basically drop this into the air fryer. Alright, while that is cooking in the air fryer, I am now going to cook up a little bit of chicken gravy. And this is literally just going to be hamburgers and gravy with rice. Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to take you along with me on my morning commute and share with you 5 essential items that I use on my commute from Long Island City to Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So obviously the most important thing that I need for my commute is my bike. So this is the Affinity Low Pro. It's the 18% gray. I've done a full video on this bike. I think the only thing that's changed since that video has been my handlebars, which I have changed to a new Nitto bullhorn handlebar. But yeah, this is the thing that pretty much gets me all the way there. And it is a fixed gear, 48-17 ratio on the gears there. And yeah, we're gonna hop onto this and ride over to Brooklyn. The next most important thing I'd say are these sunglasses that I'm wearing right now. They are the Oakley Sutro Lights, and I've got these clear lenses on them. They're actually transitions, so since I bike in the morning in sunshine, then at night it's kind of dark, but I still need to protect my eyes, I will still use the same sunglasses instead of needing to bring 2 separate sunglasses for different occasions. So really like these transition lenses, because I really do need glasses while biking here in New York City, because there's a lot of dirt and stuff flying around that could get into your eyes. So my next most important item here is my truck bucket on my bar handle bag from Oveja Negra. A lot of different companies make a bag like this, but I like how big this one is, because in the winter it's particularly useful when I have gloves or even with my mask. I can just easily shove it in there without needing to fiddle around with my pockets. The last thing on my bike that is really essential for this morning commute ride is my rear fender, the Must Guard that I have. It's very easy to strap on and strap off, and it also blocks out all the rain and dirt from kicking up and going all over your back and your butt. So on a day like today, it's been pretty useful. Now the last bit of kit that I would say is the most useful is my backpack. So this is just the perfect size for me. I've tried a bunch of different backpacks in the past, but this carries everything I needed to carry. And this is the Benny Pro from DB, or Douchebags, the old name, but they're going down to the more appropriate name. And this thing has been perfect. I carry everything in here, from my spare tube and my air pump for the bike in case I run into issues there. And I carry a lot of stuff to the office. So I've got my lunch, got my water, and I have got my laptop in here as well. So this thing is really, really useful, and I always use it whenever I come here to the studio. Alright, so it's been a pretty full day of work at the studio, and now I'm back at home, but I wanted to basically wrap up this vlog right here. And in a couple days, I'm going to be going on a trip, and I hope to be vlogging throughout that entire time. So if you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Otherwise, I will catch you in my next video.